Well, let's hear now from Tommy Stadlen, who's the co-founder of Giant Ventures. They are a venture capital firm which funds companies that have an environmental purpose. Thanks very much for being with us today, Tommy. First of all, talk to us about the concrete solutions which you think this treaty could achieve.
Well, it's great to be on. I'm not so sure the treaty itself will achieve very much. I think if you look at the history of environmental agreements internationally, they don't tend to do very much until the technology exists to make it a painless, cost-free transition. And I think we're many years away from that with plastics. But there are, I think, three very clear things that are happening through technology companies and governments. I think the first is that we need to make recycled plastic cheaper than virgin plastic. And that's the major barrier at the moment that everyone is working on. Emerging economies need to spend about $600 billion on modern waste management systems, and that's a particularly important issue. The second thing is it's about reusing plastic before we need to recycle it or produce it. So a circular economy, that's going to take a long time. But the third and probably the most exciting thing is the breakthrough technologies that are completely different alternative materials to plastic. And that's a lot of the work that we're funding at Giant.
It sounds as if you perhaps have more faith in the private sector to help achieve these changes than the people participating in these plastic negotiations.
I think so. I mean, if you go back all the way to 1987, that was the last time there was a meaningful international agreement on the environment, in that case with the ozone layer, if you remember. And the reason that the governments were able to make that agreement was that the chemical companies had the technology in place for realistic alternatives. And with climate change, we're now on COP28. There's been 28 of these UN meetings. The plastic group is only in its second meeting. So it takes a long time. And it's not until we get our act together with the technologies that will enable governments to have the confidence to say, OK, we're going to be really serious now about taxing plastic, about banning it, particularly in emerging economies where it's causing real damage to the sea in particular.
OK. Tommy Stadlen from Giant Ventures, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us.